Let's jump to this next story from the Post-Millennial. Breaking, Trump tells Biden to stop auctioning off border walls. I'm asking today Joe Biden to please stop selling the wall. This is wild. It's come to the point where Trump has an emergency press conference where he's like, we're building a wall. We have the materials. Joe Biden's selling them for $5 for like a massive segment. Basically pennies on the dollar. It's extremely expensive. It's relatively expensive. I should say extremely, but relatively, the government pays for it, which is basically you paying for it. I can only see this as the Biden administration, which is not really Biden because he's not there, but whoever is there is intentionally sabotaging this country. If Donald Trump was going, let's say this, let's do a score of minus 100 to positive 100. And that's like, minus 100 is this country has fallen to garbage, and positive 100 is golden city on the hill, shining city on the hill. Right now, we're at like a negative 60 something. It's bad. We got war. We've got crisis on the border. Trump starting from that point can only do so much to improve things, but we're excited. Joe Biden's trying to drag us down as much as possible before we get to the Trump administration. And I think it's because, as we've long stated in the show, they're intentionally sabotaging this country.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I traveled to the border multiple times during the Biden administration, would fly a drone up and literally see the migrants coming through the gaps in the border wall. And when you talk to these people coming across the border, they expressly tell you, yeah, we're coming because we heard that it's easy to get in here. So it's not even, I think, a lot of the anger gets directed towards the people who are coming here illegally, but really the signal that's been sent to the entire third world is that, hey, you can come here. So can you really blame them for making that trip?
Like Biden said, surge the border in the debates.
So I don't know if this is true, but I heard this morning that these past 4 years saw the largest mass migration in human history. So I just did a quick Google search, the largest migration in history. It says UNHCR estimates 14 million Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims were displaced during the partition of India. They're estimating now, 15 million coming to the United States in the Biden administration?
Yeah, and when we went to Guatemala. I went with Jenny Traer, who was working at the Caller at the time, and we went to the Honduran border on the south, and the people that were coming over were not South. I mean, there were a lot of Colombians, a lot of Venezuelans, but these were people from Africa. I interviewed like a group of 20 Afghanis who had come over, and they go through Brazil, then they go up through the Darien Gap in Panama. And it's amazing to see over the course of because I was at the border during the Trump administration, it was all Central and South Americans. And now it's people from everywhere. And Lord knows what these people, there's no background check. There's no way of knowing who they are. They don't even need IDs to get into the country.
I reported on the wall down at Yuma.
Yeah.
And I was getting letters from border agents who were like, we've been told just to stand down.
Yeah.
And they were saying this is an intentional collapse. And you can see at the border, at least where I was, they're just throwing their IDs out. It's like a landfill.
Yeah, they throw them right
IDs, and they're from everywhere.
Yep.
Currency, all types of stuff. And then the agents are just letting it go down for sure. Like that's what I literally saw. These people are walking up there with those little ladders. You see those little ladders?
Yes,
they make?
yeah. And then I tried to climb the border wall. I wasn't successful.
It's tall.
It is. It's a scary thing if you're up there.
It's a beautiful wall.
Yeah, and it does have slats. It does have slats.
It's tough, but they make these like makeshift ladders.
Yeah.
And they just come on over.
Here's the thing, and it's funny if you rewind back to all the anti-Trump media during when Trump was trying to build the wall. They're like, $30 billion, it's way too much money. And now we're looking at $30 billion is like I would spend $2 at a coffee shop. Yeah. And every single border agent that I talked to, hundreds, said the border wall would tremendously help with our effort. Mm-hmm. Because if you can just drive a vehicle straight over the border and then drive back, okay, a wall is going to make that a little bit harder. Yeah. Everyone's like, you could dig tunnels. It's like, okay, but it's harder to dig a tunnel than it is to drive a car across. Right.
And also in Yuma, there's a reservation right next to it.
Yes, that's where everyone goes. That's exactly right.
Just walk up to the wall and go.
I literally flew a drone right over that reservation.
Wild.
Yeah.
Or as James O'Keefe found, while they were trying to cut through the wall, there was a Border Patrol agent just sitting there watching and doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like soft TSA. because you show up, they got tags for your luggage, they got a van waiting for you, they got bottles of water, the porta potties right there.
There's nonprofits who are all putting you up in housing, and then they're putting you on a plane
for the plane. Yep,
Yes.
exactly, dude. It's insane.
You know, I need this question answered because I've been very critical of CBP for a long time for facilitating child sex trafficking. It's disgusting.
Yep.
It is an atrocity. And the question right now is, all of that, of course, persists. I want answers. I think Trump should arrest those agents who knew what they were doing. I don't care. Anybody who dares come to me and says they were just following orders, when these agents see the number on the little girl's arm, a little boy's arm, and they know what they're doing, I don't care who you think you are following orders. You facilitate trafficking. You are the trafficker. You go to jail for that. But I digress.
Well, look what happened to the border agents who were actually trying to stop people in Texas, and they were whipping the migrants, and so that's what happens to people who try to stand up.
Do the right thing. Trump's coming in 36 days. The question I have now is, who are these agents who are facilitating the sale of our border wall? In 36 days or less, Donald Trump is going to be in office, and he's going to be saying, I want my wall back. These guys know this. They know the American people voted for a secure border. They know that Donald Trump is coming in a month and wants a secure border. And they're saying, well, I'm ordered to sell off the wall. Better start doing it.
It's Mayorkas. I mean, I talked to Rodney Scott, who was the chief of the Border Patrol during the Trump years, and he was as pro-wall as anybody has ever been. And so Biden came in and he switched out the leadership, and he ensured that they were people who, shared, I guess it's not even his view, but the view of whatever people are trying to sabotage our country.
I think any Border Patrol agent that in any way helps facilitate the sale of these walls should be terminated immediately by Donald Trump once he gets into office. He should be going to whoever's running Border Patrol and say, who are the guys that were helping Biden sell off the wall? Was it you? I don't care if you're an entry level, lowest level guy, all the way to the top. Fire all of them.
There's 26,000.
But it's gonna be like a dozen or so that are part of this sale. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be like thousands of them.
Well, because there's CBP, which is the Customs and Border Protection. That's the ports of entry, like airports and all that. Right. Border Patrol is actually, CBP is like twice as big as the Border Patrol, which is crazy to me.
I believe CBP is overseeing the sale. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say this. If I'm getting the agency wrong, forgive me. CBP was involved in the trafficking. Any federal worker anywhere that is helping Biden sell off the wall should be terminated immediately. And don't get me wrong, Doge is going to fire a lot of these people as it is. I'm excited for that. I also just want to give a shout out to Elon Musk for actually getting a department called Doge.
Yes, Dogecoin is bumping. In 2018, I was like, Doge, it's gonna bump. QAnon and Doge, those both are gonna bump.
Do you think they're selling off the wall to try to make it look like the Berlin Wall pieces? Like, is this their thing? Is that what they're?
I think they're sabotaging the country.
Yeah, but that for sure.
Why don't you put up some border wall around the compound?
I was like, I'll buy some. Why not?
That would be kind of sick.
It's tough. I tried climbing it. It is not easy. It's not easy.
No, I mean, if you bought some actual border wall and put it up around here and was like, no, it's legit part of the border wall that Biden was auctioning off.
The wall does go down. It goes down like 10 feet. And then also they have, everyone's like, oh, you can just cut through it. They have motion sensors. So if somebody is cutting through it, they can pick up on.
It's steel concrete with rebar in the concrete.
They pour concrete into the actual steel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty beefy thing. That's why it's ridiculous they're selling it off.
Yeah.
But I hope these guys get fired, and I hope they regret it.
In Yuma, they had the double wall. So they had a wall, and then they had another wall. So then there's a corridor that the Border Patrol can travel through.
And the canal.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yes.
Not a canal, but like a.
Well, that's the Rio Grande,
river,
and then
there it is. Yeah.
Well, I think the big mistake Trump made was not bringing the alligators into the river.
Oh, that was
honestly.
They should, like, anyone.
I think he was joking about that, but the media reported like he was serious.
Any of the
Alligators.
border guards that have been found to do that stuff, they should all be investigated for accessory to child trafficking.
The child trafficking 100%.
Yeah, they should be investigated. If they saw a kid with a number on its arm and they called that number, you're assisting child trafficking.
There's a ton of those stories.
There should be an investigation, and if they're found guilty, they should all be punished to the fullest extent
There's
of the
a guy
law.
with a lettuce farm right there on the border in Yuma who had
all
kids.
lettuce down there.
Yeah, walk alone with the numbers. Where do those kids go?
Jail.
There's so many missing kids right now. Because of Kamala.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Bizarre.
It should, like, these people shouldn't be afraid for their jobs. They should be afraid that the new DOJ is going to find out that they were accessory to child trafficking and throw them in jail. And honestly, you should investigate Mayorkas if he knew. Investigate him, toss him in jail, like investigate them all. And if they have been found to help transport children, to help traffic children, put them in jail. We have laws against this. We have a judicial system, and we have a Justice Department that can investigate. Time to use them for good as opposed to using them for evil.
It's funny that Biden's doing this now because his president, Obama, was the deporter in chief. And he got rid of so many. And now he's like reversing all this. Dude's just rogue.
I think this is what Cash is going to do. I think one of the reasons Cash is going to have an easier time getting confirmed is because he's not one of these, pro-Trump guys who says abolish the FBI. And there are a lot of people saying that. No, Cash was like, let's take the intelligence component out of it, make these guys go solve crimes. Like, there's 7,000 guys. Go be the good guys and solve the crimes and stop the murderers and the rapists.
Well, they foiled the Whitmer kidnapping. So,
right.
I mean, come on. That's.
I'm excited for Cash Patel at the FBI.
I played hockey with Cash Patel. Awesome. He's a grinder.
He's good.
He's not afraid to step up at the blue line. I can tell you that, or take a head high clapper.
Wait, was he on your team? Like
I watched him play at an undisclosed location within the last 7 days, and they had a resounding victory. They won by double digits.
Wait, he's on a hockey team.
He's on a hockey team. Yeah,
secretly.
Yeah, he plays defense.
Oh,
yeah.
I played hockey when I was a kid.
And he's not afraid to get his elbows dirty. And I've talked to guys on his team, and everybody says that he's, you really get to know a guy when you play hockey with him.
Yeah.
I mean, you're literally showering with the dude. So, but they all have good things to say.
Oh,
well, you stink after the game. You
yes, but I mean, private showers exist.
I mean, that's my favorite part, to be honest.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.